Hello, we are back again, continuing our interview with Vanessa, an American belly dancer living and working in Egypt. So after these 8 years of performing professionally in Egypt, I'm curious, has this changed you as a dancer? You know, that you had teachers encouraging you, and you know, for those that might not be familiar with Vanessa, she was already a wonderful and highly trained, totally professional dancer. So what did Egypt add, if anything?
Well, it added so much. I mean, yes. It totally did something to me and changed. Now, you could say, how fast did that happen? It's very difficult to measure. Mm-hmm. I can look at videos of after being in Egypt for a year and say, hey, that's better. I was absorbing a little bit of this feeling. Then you could look at a couple years later and say, hey, my repertoire of songs and understanding of certain things, knowing the folklore, that was so important. Really getting into understanding the folklore was helping me understand the Oriental and what I could be doing with that. That is something, you know, it happens over time. So I can kind of look at videos, you know, maybe on the YouTube channel, I can go, oh, 2009, I mean, not bad, as good as it was for me then, you know, I can go, oh, you know, so you're always, I mean, hopefully, I always aim to grow and to continue to improve and to be able to take more of the feeling. So I would say, yes, 100% being in Egypt did change me. Like a progression. It was a progression, perhaps a slow one. But you know, when there's things that you kind of realize that you know, or mannerisms that you do, and you're like, I don't even know how I learned that or who showed me that. It just happened. And so yes, I had wonderful teachers encouraging me. You know, I'll tell you something. I had an audition there within my first month or two, and I didn't do a bad job. Looking back, I can say, boy, I was not ready. You know, thinking, hey, I'm working in New York. I've been here. I'm a pro. I'm working all over. I work in Egyptian clubs. I dance to live bands. You know, that was happening in New York at the time. Yeah,
it was a great time.
It was. It was a great time.
I remember it well.
Yeah, I mean, we actually had, you know, more than just a keyboardist. Like, there was a time when there was
music.
A full band. Yeah. And so the interesting thing is, you know, you feel like, hey, I've got all the tools. I'm ready. And you might be good, but sometimes you just have to be there really to absorb it. So that first audition, I didn't get the job. I didn't get discouraged either. I mean, it was just, hey, you got to know, you know, as my dad always said to me, if you don't succeed, you know, if at first you don't succeed, try again. And I can look back and say, boy, you know, I was fresh off the boat. I was trying to do what I thought was right at the time, and yeah, it wasn't bad, but it wasn't what they needed. It wasn't what they were looking for. And I got a wealth of experience working in Sharm el-Sheikh. It was for, you know, those years, but working for foreigners, working for Egyptians and Arabs, people from all over, understanding the differences, how you need to gear your show for different types of audiences. So yeah, huge difference. Completely different.
Well, which is good, because that was obviously one of your, maybe not as articulated, but a goal. That was that this was going to take your dancing somewhere else.
That's actually the first objective was that. That was the you know, the advice that was given to me. Hey, go to Egypt, absorb the culture, learn something. It's going to change your dancing. And yes, it did.
Now, as you changed your professional dance mode, and you kind of get the, what should we say, the Egyptian ambiance, the Egyptian mode starting to flow through you, the next question I would ask is, as a teacher, and you kind of touched on this when you were running your company, kind of applying maybe a Western New York City model, we're going to be on time, and we're going to do this, and we're going to do this. So now how has your teaching changed? Because you've been doing a lot of, well, at least I know when you come to the States, you teach a lot of workshops.
Right. Okay, so there's the difference. When you're teaching like a weekly ongoing class, you have your lesson plans, and you're having to kind of space things out. You know, you've got your topics, and each week you have something. When you're teaching a workshop, for example, you have to kind of, you want to be giving and generous and give the people what it is, you know, that they're paying for. So teaching workshops is a lot different than teaching an ongoing class. So here in New York, ongoing classes. And, you know, I still teach ballet and musical theater and choreograph for the kids, you know, when I come home. No, not in Egypt, when I come home here. And I love it. You know, it's great to still do that. But I would say, because I'm in Egypt, because of the workshops and things like that, the teaching is more geared towards a certain topic, whether it's an Oriental mise-en-scène, whether it's folklore, Falahi or Skandarani or Saidi or Nubian or a folklore cocktail mix or Belody or, you know, the feeling, Egyptian feeling or Khaliji, something like this. These topics, you're really needing to delve into it and give people something that they can take home with them, something that they can share perhaps with their students.
Very focused and condensed, that they can digest it in 3 hours or 5 hours.
Right,
or
something they can do then, something that they can take home to practice, something they can incorporate in their own choreography.
But so now this is more from the perspective of, you maybe were not teaching workshops before you left. So this is something that has grown now as you've grown, and people are kind of craving this Egyptian expertise from you, and that these are topics they want.
Yes, I would say so, yeah. I mean, before it would be more of a general belly dance class, belly dance for fitness, which is wonderful and so important. And I still enjoy popping into classes. It's great to see what other teachers are doing, what they're offering. And I kind of think that sometimes we forget the beginning, like what is important. And I think it's really to make the students feel successful, to encourage them so that they want to come back. You know, they can go take Zumba, they can go take other things for fitness if they're doing it not on a professional level.
Yes, exactly.
Okay, so the one thing I can do, I don't know how. The one thing I can definitely do is, if you're a professional, I'll help you. I can be nitpicky. I'm going to get you what you need for your goals. But if you're somebody that's just dropping in, wanting to have a good time, okay, let's make you sign up for a belly dance class with somebody else who is in your city, and you're gonna, you know, maybe I'll see you in 5 years, and you're gonna say, hey, you're the one that made me, you know, decide to stay. So you've got to look at who you're teaching, what their goals are, and know how you can really help them. Serve them the best. How do you serve them the best?
Now, do you find that with all the time you've spent in Egypt, since you were teaching on some level before you went, has it changed your methodology of teaching?
The methodology, yes.
Or has that stayed the same?
In some ways it stayed the same, but in other ways it's changed. For example, I've gotten a lot better at being able to see people, what they're doing, and to just kind of roll with it. Sometimes you've got to, I don't want to say wing it. Let's say you have a topic, okay? Before, everything used to be really planned, because that's the structure we have. Coming from a ballet background, you know, it goes like this. You have your bar, you have your center floor, everything is in an order. Well, now I have an order, but I think the methodology is also like, you've got to be able to fly by the seat of your pants.
Be flexible.
Be flexible.
Yeah.
Now that I've been in Egypt longer too, it's like anything can happen, so I've kind of gotten to where, like, if anything does happen, oh, the music stopped, that's no problem, we'll just keep going. Okay, let's do this. You guys tap out the beat, it helps them get the rhythm. You know, just being able to just kind of, just go with the flow.
Problem solve.
Yeah.
So, after having invested 8 years of your life now and a lot of energy in living in Cairo and well, in Egypt in general and Cairo now, and being a professional dancer, what do you feel this has done for your career? You know, that you made this move, and that was part of it, was your career as a belly dancer. What are your thoughts on where you are with that now? How did it help you? It
did. I think I grew up as a person, learning how to deal with things in the Middle East. Boy, you cannot, an
eye-opener, I imagine.
You cannot put a price tag on that, and the amount of time. You could say it could be a month, it could happen in a year, it could happen in 5 years. It's different for everybody. Could I say, tomorrow I move back to the States and I could check it off my list and say I did it? Yes, I could, but I'm not done yet. So, yeah, it did help my career, and it did change the course of it for sure. I think being there for such a long time, you know, you can be there for a couple months, you can be there for a vacation, there's nothing wrong with that. Staying there for that long and growing and going through these types of things, I think if people were saying, oh, okay, that's nice, there's lots of dancers in Cairo, now they're going, oh, okay, well, you know, she's really there to stay. Oh, okay, well, oh, she had a group. She had Egyptians who danced for her. Oh, interesting. You know, I mean, that was something. That was definitely, and that got me a lot of respect. So that's the thing. That's the golden ticket, respect. if you can get the respect, of course the men, you know, they might be your fans, but if you can get the respect of the women, if you can get the respect of the hotel managers and the agents and the people that you know, the musicians, oh my goodness, if you get the respect, and that's what that did for me, to be able to have that, people want to work with you. It leads to more work, but I also think getting the respect of other teachers, so other producers, other people who hold events. So maybe in America a few years ago, they're like, oh, okay, she's off in Egypt, whatever. But now they're going, oh, well, you know, actually, she's got something to offer.
Let's hire her.
Let's bring her, because we not only like her dancing, we like what we hear about her. We haven't met her personally, but we know someone who has. And
so this has given you entree and more invitations.
It's opened my world.
Right.
It's given me more invitations, and it's really opened the doors for the international workshop.
Because I was just going to say, internationally, took the word out of my mouth, because you have been teaching, you know, it's not just Egypt and here, you've been doing things kind of on a global scale, recently at least.
I've been very fortunate, yeah. I was able to teach in Budapest at Mercedes Nieto's festival, and I love her, she's wonderful.
What a beautiful dancer.
It's Cairo Festival, Cairo Budapest, and that was great. I taught in the Netherlands, Isis Zahra. And you know, she did an interview with me, I don't know, 4 years ago. It was probably the first interview she did on a blog, and that made me start thinking about what it was I was doing and where it was I wanted to go. And so when she kind of kept going with her festival, she did invite me to teach in her festival in the Netherlands, and that was wonderful. And there's been some others. So yeah, it's been great, and I'm excited. I'm going to Germany next year.
Oh, wow.
Have some other things in the works.
So I guess that kind of leads to my next question, which is, what are your thoughts? Now, you've invested this time. What's the game plan going forward?
Right.
You know?
So, great question. So, and as we see, you know, this performing time, it doesn't last forever. I know it.
Yeah, and we all know it.
Hey, you know, and if the people love you, you're going to have a longer time. If you're already there and they like you, they're going to be more forgiving. If you get a little older, if you put on a couple pounds, you wear a dress or you know, whatever. But at the end of the day, it isn't forever.
Exactly.
And so
it's not a realistic expectation for any dancer. It's not.
And so I feel like I'm definitely so thankful for the time that I've had. I'm definitely not done yet. But I am definitely, and I keep saying definitely, but I do feel very strongly about having listened to other people, mentors like Gamila, who was, you know, the queen of the Ibis, somebody who was, you know, there as a fixture in New York for all these years, and then all of a sudden it's not happening anymore.
The world changes.
The world changes, things change, venues change. Lots of changes. So I see changes even now in Cairo. I see differences in what people are wanting. Maybe they're not wanting a big show with a band. They're wanting the dancer to dance on CD. I think that's a shame. So I'm seeing things where I go, ooh, well, who's letting them get away with this? You know, oh, they want them to dance on a thing that looks like a go-go, you know, platform.
Yeah, I've been hearing that.
No, I'm not saying that anyone who does that is wrong or bad. I'm just saying you're not going to get me up there doing it. I really don't. So, yes, what do I want to do? Of course, I want to continue performing in the way that I would hope it can continue. And then the teaching, the DVDs, the workshops, these types of things are a wonderful way to continue a legacy, to educate people, to be a good example, to raise the bar up, to help
and to keep using all this experience that you've been gaining.
Right.
You know, to put it out in a different form.
To put it out in a different form, absolutely. And I think that, yes, I mean, you know, in 10 years, there will be things happening and things that I might not like to happen, but, you know, there's changes that will happen. And so I'm looking forward to, and in this time, building up what it is I have now so that I will be able to go into a new chapter very successfully. And I'm thankful.
Looking ahead. Looking ahead.
Yeah, looking ahead.
You know,
and
with excitement, though, but with understanding of reality, but with still excitement and great plans.
Absolutely. And in 10 years, I'll be interested to see this and go, I didn't know. No, it'll be great. It'll be great because, you know, these things, you know, it's like I can look back and go, man, 8 years in Egypt, the time, it went by so fast. I mean, you blink your eye and you go, what?
Yeah.
You know,
Yep.
how did that happen? And so, yes, having a plan, knowing that you have to cherish the moments that you have, you're not going to get them back, trying to be smart about things, creating good relationships with people, having that respect, making sure that, you know, when you work with people, you make them want to hire you again. That is so valuable because there's hundreds of other people that they could call. You know, that's going to keep you in there for the long haul.
Well, as you say, it'll be exciting to look back on it, let's say in 5 years,
Okay.
and see what has happened.
We'll check back in.